Alright, so today we have a new chapter. We're going to talk about how to graph linear functions. We have two different forms to graph in, slope-intercept and standard form. Slope-intercept will look like this. Y equals mx plus b, where your m is your slope and b is what is considered the y-intercept of the equation. The y-intercept means where we would cross the y-axis. So to graph this function, we need to first plot that y-intercept on the y-axis. Whatever number it is, we put it on the y-axis. And then we find our second point by using the slope to go from the y-intercept to the second point. Whatever the slope is will tell us to go exactly where we need to go. You can always create a table of values as well. It's an incredibly slow process where you just pick numbers for x, plug it in, find y's, and go from there. Not necessarily a great idea if it's already in this form. Slope and intercept form is pretty easy to graph. So we want to graph this equation, y equals 2x plus 3. So first we should identify our slope, which I'll write as 2 over 1. The reason why I'm putting it as a fraction form is because slope is rise over run. So I want to rise 2 and run 1, meaning I'm going to go up 2, right 1. My b value is 3, so I'm going to plot that on my y-axis. So we have our graph. My y-intercept was 3, so I'm going to go to 3 on the y-axis. My slope was 2, so I'm going to rise 2, run 1, up 2, right 1. Let me just connect the two dots with the line. Obviously, if you want to use a ruler, that'd be a great idea. Y equals 2x plus 3. I kind of can't use a ruler in these videos. My writing pad won't allow me to do that and see what's happening. So that's all we have to do. We plot our y-intercept value, and then go up or down, left or right, based on what the slope tells me. If the slope is a whole number, put it over 1. That way you go to the right 1. Alright, so this one's a little more interesting. Y equals negative 3/2 x minus 2. So my slope is a negative 3 over 2, which means I'm going to go down 3, right 2. Or, if we think of it as 3 over negative 2, you also could go up 3, left 2. Either way, you need to have a negative slope, meaning as the graph is going towards the right direction, it is going down. That's what a negative slope implies. Positive, as you're going to the right, you're going up. And our b value is negative 2. So that's where we're going to start. So we're going to start at negative 2, our b value. And as our slope told us, it's negative 3 over 2. So we go down 3 to the right 2. There's our second point. And we connect our dots and label our line. Y equals a negative 3/2 x minus 2. And there's our graph. So I want you to do this one on your own. Y equals 4/5 x minus 1. You're going to plot your y-intercept and then use that to go to your next point using your slope. So pause the video while you work that out, and I'll have the solution ready for you when you come back. Alright, so your graph should look like this. We're at negative 1 for our y-intercept, and we went up 4 to the right 5. And there's our line. So those are when they're in slope-intercept form. Now we have two other types of lines where we get the standard. We have our horizontal line, y equals 2. So whenever we have an equation y equals some number, all we have to do is we go to 2 on the y-axis. We draw a horizontal line through that. It's a horizontal line because at every single point on this line, y equals 2. X doesn't matter because there was no x in the equation. So that's why the x's are constantly changing, but y's are not. So it's going to be a simple horizontal line. Same concept for our x equals lines. We're going to plot that number on the x-axis, and now we're going to draw a vertical line through that. So we go to negative 3. We're going to draw a vertical line through that negative 3. Again, it's vertical because every single one of these points on the line, the x value is negative 3. Y's don't matter because there is no y in the equation. That's why it's just horizontal. Okay, so those are your slope-intercept values and then your horizontal and vertical lines. Not too difficult. For the horizontal verticals, they should be rather straightforward. And slope-intercept, again, you plot the y-intercept value first, and you go up or down, left or right, based off what the slope tells you. Now, standard form looks like this. ax plus by equals c. where your a, b, and c values are all going to be whole numbers. That's the purpose of standard form. There are no fractions, there are no decimals in that form. Now, to graph this, the easiest way to graph this is to find the x and y intercepts. You find the x-intercept by saying ax equal to your c. You find your y-intercept by saying by equal to your c. Very straightforward, very simple. Those 2 points will then go on your x and y-axis respectively, and then connect the 2 dots with a line. So we have 2x plus 4y equals 8. So I need to find the x-intercept. So 2x equals 8. So you'll get x equals 4. I need my y-intercept. So 4y equals 8. So y equals 2. So we're going to plot both those points. X equals 4 on the x-axis. Y equals 2 on the y-axis. So x equals 4. Y equals 2. Then we connect our 2 dots. And label our line. 2x plus 4y equals 8. Very simple. You also could, if you wanted to, you could solve this equation for y to put it into slope-intercept form and graph it that way. Totally unnecessary. I would not recommend it, but it still will work. I want to graph this line. Negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 15. So again, I set my x expression, negative 3x equal to negative 15. My y expression, 5y equal to negative 15. I solve for x, I'm going to get a positive 5. I solve for y, I'm going to get a negative 3. So those are my 2 points for this line. So I go to 5 on the x-axis, I go to negative 3 on the y-axis. Connect our 2 dots, and label our line negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 15. Very straightforward, very easy. So the key really for these problems is, especially when there's negatives for the x and y's, don't lose them. They need to stay positive and negative answers. So once you do this one on your own, find your x-intercept, find your y-intercept, plot those 2 points to graph your line. So go ahead and pause the video. While you work on that, I will have the solution ready for you. Alright, so this should be your graph. We found our x-intercept to be negative 3. When I set negative 4x equals 12. My y-intercept should be positive 2. When I set 6y equal to 12. Then we graphed our lines and then labeled it. So that's graphing our linear equations. So next time we're going to talk about how to find slope, this concept using points, how to find slope. So I will see you next time.